Hello my friends, and welcome back. In today's video, we're going to be doing a little more work on komorebi, the tiling window manager for Windows, which is written in the Rust programming language. We are currently in the middle of a brand new mini-series in which we are building a status bar for komorebi using the egui Rust UI framework. It is an immediate mode GUI framework which we have used previously to build the komorebi debug UI. So we made some changes last time to bring out some of the configuration into a dedicated configuration struct here, and we were going to continue by adding to this config struct, adding some default formats for the different widgets, but actually I have a different idea. So last night I was talking to Josh Park on the Discord, who has recently created a Rust rewrite of the auto hotkey app komorebi, and it's very cool. It's a nice simple little widget that sits in the bottom right hand corner if you have the taskbar enabled, and it just tells you which workspace you're on. Pretty cool. One thing that Josh mentioned was that komorebi does not account for restarts of the window manager, which means that if you restart komorebi, for example, if you upgrade, you have to stop and start. komorebi won't be able to listen to the newest changes. And this is actually a common problem, right? Because we need this also in our status bar, because it's not a good It's not a good user experience if when somebody restarts komorebi, the bar integration doesn't work anymore, right? So this is actually a pretty important thing, I think, in general for UI applications that are driven by data that comes in from a third party. In a lot of cases, when you have this sort of setup where the data that is feeding your UI is coming from a third-party source, we think about backends and front ends in UIs, right? So you have a backend API that a front end in React or Angular or whatever is querying over an HTTP request. It gets some data, and then based on the data, it updates the DOM state, right? What we have here is a little bit different because komorebi, let me see if I can get the diagram up for you guys real quick. komorebi communicates over Unix domain sockets mainly, and this is the little diagram here, right? So you have a process you have a hotkey manager which launches a komorebi C command in like a command process or something, and that sends a message over the socket to komorebi. Sometimes komorebi sends something back, like when you do the komorebi C, let's do visible windows command, and this is a query, right? So we get something back. And sometimes we don't get anything back. So if I do komorebi C focus left, it will update the state, it will do what I want, but I'm not getting any feedback on the socket. So the way that the bar is working is we are subscribing to notifications, and we're telling komorebi, hey, whenever something happens, can you write a notification to this socket? So why don't I zoom in a little bit? Yeah, so we have our listener, we do komorebi client subscribe, and we can look into this here. So what this does is you give this a name, right? And in our case, the name is komorebi bar. I'm subscribing as komorebi bar. And we make sure that, we clean up any previous sockets by that name. And then we bind a listener, and then we send a message that says add subscriber socket with this socket name, right? And then what's going to happen is at the end of every processed event, let's say, or every processed command, this gets called notify subscribers. And this works on named pipes as well as sockets. For our uses here, we're only connecting over sockets. So what it will do is it will go through all of the sockets. It will connect to each one, right? So it'll connect to komorebi bar.sock, and then it will write whatever this notification is. And this notification is a JSON serialized notification, which means that when you get the line from the Unix stream, you have to use JSON or whatever deserialization format and library you prefer to cast that back into a notification that has the event and has the state. All well and good, but however, what happens when komorebi isn't running anymore? So this is actually what we need to handle. So right now, when komorebi stops, we have this control C hook, and then if we exit the program in any way, first of all, we restore all of the windows. We disable mouse follows focus on the Windows API. We go through all of the sockets and we send a shutdown message, and then we clean up our own komorebi socket before exiting. And so what we want to make sure we handle in komorebi bar, and what you want to make sure you handle if you're integrating with komorebi via the komorebi client crate, is that you handle this gracefully in a way that will allow you to reconnect. Right now, I'm not handling this particularly gracefully. So let's change these values again. Get the bar running. Cargo run package komorebi bar. Let's get this running and I'll show you what's happening right now. So we have this, and we can see I'm pressing Alt-2 to go to chat, Alt-3 to go to editing, Alt-1 to go back to personal, and these are all updating, right? Because we're receiving notifications that each of these commands has been sent and dealt with. However, if I do komorebi C stop, the bar continues working, but I can't do anything. I'm doing Alt 1, 2, 3. Obviously, that's not working because komorebi isn't working. But if I start again, I would like two things, right? So one is I would like to have my my offset returned, right? Like it adds an offset when we first open the bar. But also, I would like this top left to update when I change between workspaces. And that's not happening anymore, right? Because we have a new instance of komorebi that has no knowledge of the old socket subscriptions. So this is one of the things that we are gonna need to handle with a bit of grace. So, where to start? Let's have a look here. So we start a thread, and in that thread, we subscribe to the listener. And right now we're just reading in lines, but actually, when the shutdown message is sent, it sends like a 0 byte, or it sends 0 bytes basically, right? And so when we read lines, we're getting, I believe it's reader.lines, we're getting like an iterator. Let X is, yeah, it's an iterator over lines of buff reader Unix stream. So what we want to do here, because we want to be able to have that information, right, that this many bytes were read. So we want our own buffer. We want this to be a mutable buffer because we're going to be writing to it. So we will add a new vec here, and our buff reader, I think we're gonna do reader.read to end, and then we're gonna pass it a mutable reference to our buffer, right? So is this a result? What is going on here? IntelliJ is killing me lately. Just does not want to play with me. All right, so reader needs to be mutable. And then we have a result of type usize. And that usize, I believe, is going to be the number of bytes returned. And the function will continuously call read to append more data to buff until read returns either OK or an interruption error. So when we are sending our shutdown message, that will give us on this side a message of length 0 bytes, right? So we can do if matches OK 0, and this is when we know a shutdown has been sent, right? And so here we're gonna keep trying to reconnect in a loop, right? So instead of calling subscribe, we're just going to send the message directly. I think we're going to do send message, add subscriber socket, and that's going to be komorebi bar. Probably needs to be a string from, and we can say while this is an error, so while the reconnection has not succeeded, we can sleep this thread, duration from sex1, we'll sleep for a second. Right, and this will just kind of keep running in the background. Every second we'll keep trying to send this message, and we'll keep getting errors until komorebi is running again to handle the message, right? We get bacon running on the side. And then here, keep trying to reconnect to komorebi. And so this is how the new instance of komorebi, when it comes up, it's going to add us, komorebi bar, back to its list of subscribers to push notifications back out to. So keep trying to reconnect, and then here we have reconnected. And if we have work area offset set here, we probably need to clone this because it's in a thread where we have move, and so move takes over ownership, right? And one of the nice things about cloning on an arc is that it kind of just works, because you're just cloning the atomic reference counter, right? You're not cloning the entire config. At least I think that's how it works, I think. So we're going to do this from config clone. And so config clone, this atomic reference counter here is owned by this thread. You can't call this outside of the thread. And then we'll take the monitor index from there as well. Nice. This might also fail sometimes, so let's do a while. While that is error, then we can also like just sleep for a second and keep retrying until it works. And I think here we have everything we need. So why don't we give this a go? You know what, actually, why don't I add some debug lines so we know what's happening. Komorebi sent shutdown. Maybe I'll do a print line. Failed to reconnect to komorebi. Reconnected to komorebi and resubscribed. And then here, set monitor work area offset. Right? Let's try that. Let's see if this works first time. I'll be lucky if it does. Who has a lock on the... Oh, Bacon has a lock. Alright. So hopefully this is all that you'll need. Actually, you won't need this part. This part is specific to what we're doing in the bar. But this is the general reconnection workflow. I think it's pretty good. We got a problem. Houston, we have a problem. So let's stop that. Komorebi. Let's get the logs going at the same time. So why didn't you work? Why did you not work? Because I'm... damn it, I'm double reading. Right? I'm trying to read from something that isn't in the reader anymore. So, okay, we need to do something else. Because we have already read those bytes now into this buffer to do that shutdown check. So at that point, we assume we have a line. And instead, we need to, I think it's string from UTF-8, because they're UTF-8 encoded bytes. And here we're going to consume that buffer. And I think it should be something like this. Expected stir. And we're going to unwrap that. Okay, now let's try that again. We can clean up this as well. Okay, so this is working. We can see on the top left. And cool. So I'm doing Alt 1, Alt 2, Alt 3, and I am having the top left update the workspaces widget. Very nice. So now I'm going to quit komorebi. Komorebi sent shutdown, and here you can see fail to reconnect every second. And we are going to run komorebi again. You can see that it adjusted the height. And we have here reconnected to komorebi and resubscribed. Set monitor work area offset. Cool. So now I'm going to press Alt 2, and we can see up in the top left, Alt 3, my workspaces widget is working as expected. Very nice. Very, very, very nice. I'm happy with that. Yeah, I still have time to do more, but I feel like this is a good spot to end up a video. So will I? Yeah, I think this will be better as 2 videos. This is quite a nice self-contained thing that is going to help a lot of people who are trying to integrate using komorebi client, you know, for trade, what is it called? tray something, but como trays for zbar for other people who are trying to write status bars. So yeah, this is good. And then when we come back in the next video, which I'm going to record straight after this, we will look into expanding our config options here to give us some more defaults. Some more defaults, or should we say some more configurable defaults, right? Because if you look at our date widget, the default is set to month, date, year. If you look at our time widget, it's set to 12 hour. So that'll be the next thing, giving users the ability in their config to say, I want this widget to have this output format. Cool? Cool. All right, my friends, let's wrap this on up by saying thank you to all of the lovely sponsors of this project. Starting from David, thank you very much. Thank you, Thomas, Chris, Andy, Timothy, private sponsor number 1, Azine, James, Pavel, Felipe, private sponsor number 2, Cody, Nia, Harold, Sundance, PJHFGGIJ, Hyro, DM1681, Darian, Kwang, Surefire, Solomon, private sponsor number 3, Kilroy, my boy, Evan, Quilt, Alex, and Hisayuki. Thank you all so very much, my friends. If you too would like to become a sponsor, head on over to the sponsor page. You can be a one-time sponsor, you can be a monthly sponsor. $1 a month makes a huge difference. If you can, $5 a month is also very much appreciated. However, if you are not in a position to become a sponsor, the very next best thing that you can do is make sure that you are subscribed to the GZ Codes YouTube channel. We are a fully monetized YouTube channel, which means that all of the time you spend watching videos, interacting, skipping ads, it all adds up, and it's a really nice, simple, passive way to financially support the future of this project. All right, my friends, that is all we have time for in this video. I hope that whatever you all do today, you have a great day. Free Palestine, and I'll see you all back here next time.